Moving along tonight on the Don't Tell Mama Sports Podcast, we've got some breaking news out of the NFL. The Baltimore Ravens have just acquired Diontae Johnson from the Carolina Panthers via trade. Baltimore is only sending a 2025 fifth rounder for Johnson, a 2025 sixth rounder coming back. Just a little pick swap along with Johnson. Baltimore is familiar with DJ as he spent his first 5 seasons in division with the Steelers. Currently, Diontae Johnson with the Panthers this year. He's wide receiver 28, full PPR ESPN leagues. 30 catches for 357 yards and 3 touchdowns. All those numbers lead the Panthers this year. Jack, what do you think about Diontae Johnson moving from Carolina to Baltimore?
I think it's a steal for Baltimore. I think they've realized they need another weapon. They need another deep threat. I feel like he gives me some similarities to Hollywood Brown, who they've lost. So he's going to be able to stretch the field more, but he's got very good hands. He's a very good route runner as well. Um, I just don't think we saw this one coming. It seemed like the obvious spot was going to be San Francisco, who's
Hmm.
in need of receivers right now. So I think this was a really, really sneaky steal for Baltimore to just get in there and take them.
I'm definitely surprised by this move. Now, people are saying now Lamar Jackson has a new wide receiver one. Do you agree with that? That Deontay is just going to step in over Zay Flowers? Is he a better receiver than Zay Flowers? Because I'm not sure.
I think that's tough. They kind of both fall into the same tier for me. I think Zay Flowers would have the next a step over him just because he knows that offense better. But I do think Deontay has a lot to show. He also hasn't really had a quarterback as talented as Lamar Jackson before, and somebody that can move around in the pocket like that. So we really might see a whole different guy when he moves to Baltimore.
Zay Flowers right now, wide receiver 16, full PPR leagues and ESPN. I think we might be surprised by that. Now, obviously, Zay has to come down a little bit because he has to share the load. But who's the number one option here for Lamar Jackson? Who's going to be throw in Mark Andrews, throw in Isaiah Likely? Who's the number one target? Throw in Justice Hill for who's the number one target for Lamar Jackson in fantasy moving forward that you want?
At this moment, Zay Flowers,
Mm-hmm.
and then closely behind that is probably Deontay.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a guy that I don't feel comfortable starting this week, probably not next week. But down the line, if he starts to build up a rapport with Lamar Jackson, we don't know what his ceiling could be. And we've kind of seen what Zay Flowers can give us. The downside of this whole offense is that you just don't know who's going to go off. Mark
Seriously.
Andrews can have 2 touchdowns, 100 yards one night, and then a goose.
Double
So
goosey.
the only two players you can trust are Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, Lamar's really he's not playing favorites. He's spreading around. If I could give you one name from Carolina to maybe look out for, fill in the void for DJ, Xavier Legette, first rounder out of
Yeah,
South Carolina. He's gonna be able to step in there. If Andy Dalton comes back, that thumb's feeling right, he could be a second half sleeper here, Xavier Legette.
yeah,
The NFL trade deadline, Jackie brought up the Niners are maybe looking for a receiver. Chargers might be looking for a receiver. The NFL trade deadline is actually next Tuesday, November 5th.
yeah,
So it's coming quick. We're going to have a lot more news, trade news
definitely.
in the NFL next week.
Do you have any ideas on who might be the next receiver to move?
A lot of names out there, a lot of names out there, a lot of gum bumping, a lot of receivers. I feel like receivers are so deep, especially in fantasy, but
Yeah,
I don't have any names for you right now. Deontay Johnson, that was definitely the
yeah,
top of
that
the
was
board.
I figured he was moving. He wasn't
Yeah.
staying in Carolina, but